Welcome, guys. We've had the sprint race from Qatar, and well, that was a hard watch, wasn't it? We got the action, and it was always going to be at the start, and then it kind of filtered out pretty quickly, didn't it, unfortunately? An amazing start by Yuki Tsunoda. It's a shame that he couldn't get that pass on Lando Norris, stuck down the inside, and it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because you can hold position around the outside and get good exit speed, as Norris did, which helped him keep Yuki back. But had that happened, we might have got a little bit of a different race and some action between Norris and Yuki Tsunoda at least, and that would have kept Max Verstappen interested for sure for a little bit longer. But as we got, it was Yuki got a pretty good start, couldn't pass Lando Norris, and then nicely let Max Verstappen pass after a poor start from Fernando Alonso. That was well orchestrated by the Red Bull guys, and then it was Max Verstappen and Lando Norris's DRS, but he was helped a little bit by George Russell, wasn't he, in that early phase where Norris got the DRS with George Russell, as Verstappen got the DRS on Norris, and then by lap 7 or 8 both slipped out of the DRS zones, and it was comfortable from there. The only action we got really was the fight with Charles Leclerc and Ollie Berman. Ollie defending really well at the early starts of that phase, and then a mistake from Leclerc meant Liam Lawson got a run, but he passed off track where Charles Leclerc effectively forced him off track, and he was told to give that position back. And then the only bad part or the interesting part of the game was right at the end, where it was Yuki Tsunoda got a 5-second penalty for track limits, and it's like, for God's sake, like, this is the one weekend where you've had a really good qualifying session and you've done everything that you needed to do in the sprint race for the team. Don't just go and cost yourself a position, which it looked like he had done. He should have finished 5th place, but then was 6th. But then luckily for him, Kimi Antonelli, after the race had finished, got a 5-second penalty for track limits as well. Although interestingly enough, they'd basically said, they reviewed it and said, hey, you're not getting a black and white flag now, they're downgrading it, one of the track limits won't count, but then almost reviewed it again, which is interesting, because if you've said it's not track limits, the driver is then on the next lap or the lap after is then going to go for the same line because you've said it's fine, but clearly not. And then he's obviously got a 5-second penalty for that, which meant that them two both switched places again, and yeah, Yuki Tsunoda gets past and keeps that 5th place from Kimi Antonelli, and it's still annoying, I think, if you're a Yuki fan and you want him to do really well. He just had to keep it clean. I don't know why he was going and stretching it so far when you've already got 3 track limits to do a 4th and give yourself a penalty. It would have been a real kick in the teeth had he lost that position. Luckily for him, it's worked out the way it has, but it's just put a little bit of a downer on what's been a brilliant weekend so far from Yuki Tsunoda. And as you can tell, that was pretty much all the race. We've got a few pit stops. Lance Stroll came in the pits for some soft tyres. I'm not sure if they'd sort of detected some sort of puncture or they just wanted to do some running on the softs. And we also got the 2 Alpines doing that. And Ted was sort of talking that they're trying to just get some quali practice in on the soft tyre. They pitted lap 18, so just got a couple of laps on that soft tyre. Which was, again, I'm not sure. Did they really need quali practice when you've had one qualifying session already? I guess it's just trying to understand the warm-up, possibly procedure on the soft tyre and how to get the best out of it. But comfortably, the Alpines absolutely miles down. I mean, the only benefit here really actually is because Pierre Gasly beat Lance Stroll, and I think that's only because Stroll pit for whatever setup changes or they were trying to do on their end. Charles Leclerc had an absolute stinker. He started and dropped 3 places or 4 places at the start from P9 down to P13, and yeah, it's been a horrible weekend for Ferrari. I had Charles Leclerc to be like up at the front at one point, but he did a decent qualifying session or a decent qualifying run at one part in quali, and then just seemed to drop off miles and then a bad start for him, and it just looks like you're not able to overtake. The DRS is not strong enough. Track position is clearly king around here, so qualifying session coming up next is massively important for everybody, and especially for Oscar Piastri. Let's hope the Red Bull and Max Verstappen can get on top of the bouncing and the porpoising issues that they've had, because that seems to be what's costing him just sticking with the Red Bull. And you know, he's quick, but that seems to just be the big issue really for him. Over one lap, can he put it together and get between one of the two McLarens? I kind of really hope so. Had Verstappen got past Norris in this sprint race, that would have been really, really interesting. It just showed that Max has some race pace, but clearly at the moment, the way the car is going, it all now depends as whether they can get on top of this bouncing and fix it. They've done this before. They did last year, where Max Verstappen was 6th in the sprint and then, you know, went on and won the main race. So anything is possible with the Red Bull. They are one of the best teams when it comes from fixing issues and having a really poor sprint and then just absolutely nailing it for the main race. And let's hope they can do that for qualifying later, and for, you know, just get that car right for Sunday. But I think the issues seem like they're quite difficult to get on top of. Oscar Piastri, absolutely perfect from him. Lights to flag victory, no issues whatsoever. Good start, not under any pressure whatsoever. Kept it clean, and he drove home in the sort of form that we've seen from him early in the season. But he'll know it's a big qualifying session coming up next. He really needs to just hope he absolutely nails everything. Gets on pole position. He looks like he is the slightly quicker man in the McLarens at the moment, but we've seen Lando Norris, the way his form's been. He's been absolutely mega at times and can just pull off something spectacular. He's not quite done that yet, but don't count him out. So it'll be an interesting qualifying session coming up next. A lot can change and has always changed from sprint to the main qualifying, so that's always nice to see, because that was one of the criticisms that we found of the early sprint races. I found personally was whatever happened in the sprint, we sort of get the same again for qualifying and the main race, and it was just a huge massive spoiler. But what we found this season is actually we are getting quite different qualifyings and main races from the guys after the sprint, because whatever changes and tweaks that we're seeing cars make, they're so finely balanced that if you get it slightly wrong, you're completely on the other end of the spectrum, and if you get it right, you're absolutely flying. And yeah, I'm kind of hoping for more of the same, but another Oscar win will be perfect. But there we have it. Not such a spectacular sprint race. Qualifyings are always banging, and they have been this season, so let's hope for more of that coming up next. But thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, see you on the next one.